Traditional African witch doctors, also known as spiritual healers, are believed to have special powers. From childhood, they learn to brew powerful potions and communicate with the spirits of the natural world, believing they can solve problems, cure illnesses, and banish evil. Their practice is known as juju. It involves the use of prayers, herbs, and animal sacrifice. But as Uganda's new elite look for greater wealth and power, an ancient practice has re-emerged, leading to the deaths of hundreds of children.
The whole head is cut off totally. Plus his genitals.
We expose the witch doctors who offer child sacrifice.
Enough. Even if you want 100, no problem for me.
100 children, okay.
Thank you very much.
We uncover the traffickers who abduct children to meet the demand from witch doctors in Africa and abroad.
I have it. I have blood.
And in the UK, witch doctors are using human blood for what they say are powerful rituals.
What we've seen on the scan explains what Alan has. He did suffer brain damage, which is permanent, unfortunately. There's not much we can do, but being young...
They call him the miracle child. A machete was sliced through Alan's head and neck in an attempt to behead him.
But you see, this is where the cut was. There is a bone missing here, and around there is some damage. This normal brain tissue.
The work of witch doctors, attempting child sacrifice. Alan's mutilated body was found near his village home. He had also been castrated. It was a month before he woke from a coma. Doctors at this Kampala hospital are surprised that Alan has survived, but he will need a lifetime of emotional and physical therapy.
It's quite shocking. I think this is unacceptable. It's an innocent young child. Yeah.
Alan's story is unusual in Uganda, but only because he survived. Human sacrifice, believed to bring wealth and good health, was rare in Uganda until around 3 years ago, when it re-emerged, coinciding with a boom in the country's economy. A Ugandan government report released last year claims that a staggering 9,000 children have gone missing since 2007. Many are thought to have been trafficked for juju rituals, including child sacrifice. It's widely believed that some members of the new elite are paying witch doctors vast sums of money for an ancient practice. But the wealthy do not sacrifice their own children. We are heading to the villages and farming communities that surround the capital, Kampala. The Mukono district has the highest rate of child sacrifice cases in the country. It's a familiar story. As news reached the village that 3 young children had been sacrificed, parents ran to where the bodies had been found, fearing it was their child. Topi discovered that both of her children had been murdered. The same day, the local witch doctor also sacrificed his own child. Later, he was convicted of all 4 murders. But I'm told that justice here is rare and slow. Oh, here. This is where you found the body. Elsewhere in Mukono, Tepanisi found the body of her 6-year-old grandson, Stephen, very close to their home. He'd been missing for 24 hours. The local witch doctor admitted to sacrificing Stephen. Tepanisi says the police didn't want to investigate. Tepanisi tells me that she turned down the offer of what the police described as compensation for Stephen's murder. Alan's father, Semwanga, has sold his home to pay for his son's medical treatment and moved to the slums of Makono. But they are still waiting for justice. In 2009, the government launched a child sacrifice police task force, but families of victims complain of corruption, slow investigations, and lethargic courts. The men Alan claims kidnapped him for sacrifice live in this village. They were arrested and released without charge. But members of this community have told us that they continue to take children and sacrifice them. Posing as businessmen, we asked around for a local witch doctor that could bring prosperity to our Ugandan construction company. We were introduced to this man, Awali. During the first meeting, Awali sacrificed a goat to bring luck to the business. A few days later, we were invited back to his shrine to discuss what he says is the most powerful spell, the sacrifice of a child.
There's 2 ways of doing it. Or if it's a man, if it's a boy, the whole head is cut off totally. Plus his genitals.
Awali then explains how he and his brother find children for sacrifice.
So this is what
Awali claims he has sacrificed children before, but is he the same witch doctor that tried to kill Alan? Alan, do you recognize this man?
Awali.
And is he one of the men that took you, Alan? Yes?
Yeah.
The police have told us that this case will not go to trial because the only evidence is Alan's eyewitness account, which is not enough to secure a conviction. So, just how prevalent is child sacrifice in Uganda? No one from the government accepted our invitation to be interviewed. However, the issue is played down. The police cite official statistics of 38 definite cases since 2006. Most of these were from Makono. But this figure is based solely on conclusive investigations. Last year, 900 reported cases of child sacrifice were awaiting investigation by the police task force. The unit's police commissioner vehemently denies allegations of corruption, blaming a lack of resources to investigate.
So if we get information that someone is involved in doing criminal activities, like it can be like a human sacrifice, we shall go and investigate, and if we prove the case against him, we shall take him to court. Sometimes the cases, the complaints are not proved.
Alan and his father attend Mass here every Sunday. This church community look to each other for understanding and support. Over the last year, more children have been abducted from this parish by witch doctors than the official number for the entire country.
Every day in the news,
buli lunaku mu mawulire
we wake up with shocking news
tuzuukuka n'amawulire agatiisa
of missing and abducted children.
ababuze n'abaana ababuze nga tebategedde
And the biggest number of them is sacrificed.
ate nga enamba esinga bambi basaddeko busaddaakibwa.
These children are exchanged for money.
bano abantu babakyusaamu ssente bafune
These children
obugagga.
are slaughtered with such brutality and human circumstances.
A report by the children's charity, Jubilee Campaign, claims many of the men who offer rich clients child sacrifice are actually criminals, posing as witch doctors. Communities like this one are backing the charity's campaign, which is calling on the government to regulate witch doctors and better resource the police.
The children have no voices, and their voices have been silenced by the law, by the police, which is not acting, by people who read papers and do nothing. So we have to stand, whatever it takes, to fight this evil.
Do you think they'll listen?
We pray that they will.
But local witch doctors are not responsible for every child that goes missing from communities like this one. Victims are found as far away as the UK. According to a recent US government report on global trafficking, Uganda has emerged as one of the main source countries for traffickers, seeking children to take to Europe for use in witchcraft rituals and other forms of exploitation. The report says the Ugandan government has made the minimum effort to tackle the problem.
He's my senior brother.
So, how easy is it to buy a child in Uganda? Posing as traffickers wanting children to smuggle into the UK, we had our first meeting lined up within days. Eunice, hello.
Hello,
Hello,
brother.
this is Chris.
How are you?
I'm very good. I've heard very good things about you.
I take each and everything on position.
We tracked down a man notorious in Uganda's underworld as a prolific child abductor and trafficker.
Do you have enough? I have enough. Even if you want 100, no problem for me.
100 children, okay. That's good.
Even if you want 100, for me I have so many communication. On network all in Uganda. I have all network in Uganda.
I understand. Okay, we will talk tomorrow then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Eunice, thank you. Bye-bye. Well, that is a man called Eunice Kabul. He claims to head a network of traffickers across the whole of Uganda who kidnap children to provide them for use in witchcraft and other forms of exploitation. Eunice insisted we meet at an isolated hotel, 250 miles from the capital. He claims to have been selling children for use by witch doctors, here and abroad, for over 20 years. He boasts how it's done.
There is process. One, to see abagala mu makubo ki agagala makubo ga kyama oba kuba kati nze ngenda mu maka g'omunywi wa mwana byabazadde akati before nga.
He explains that means to abduct a child, his preferred method. A second meeting, and Eunice is keen to begin work.
Okay, one question. When he abducts them, are we sure there's not going to be any police problem? That the parents go running to the police saying, well, our child is missing?
Sinzira kuki wakakati supply eyo kati mbali n'okufuna ennyumba endala saamuweya tetusaplayinga wano oluvannyuma lw'okudropinga wano. I don't want any police, I don't want anybody, I don't want anything. I want this thing to be for you with Susan.
Smooth. Okay.
Eunice Kabul demanded a fee of $15,000 per child. After this meeting, we withdrew from negotiations. Britain has emerged as one of the main destination countries for children trafficked from Africa. Little is known about how they are trafficked in, but a sinister picture is emerging of why. Evidence of child sacrifice here in the UK first emerged 10 years ago when the torso of a young Nigerian boy was discovered on the banks of the River Thames. There have been other cases, but the murder of children for sacrificial rituals remains rare in this country. But we've discovered that over the last 4 years, nearly 400 African children trafficked to Britain have been rescued by police agencies. Many of these children have been abused by witch doctors. Some agreed to share their experiences with us. Still fearing their abusers, we've asked young actors to speak their words.
The traffickers, or witch doctors, take your hair and cut your arms, legs, head and genitals and collect the blood. They say, if you speak out, I can kill you.
They told me I was evil and made bad things happen. I believed it, and that this was my punishment.
I was very scared of the witchcraft and about what would happen to me. I asked God to protect me. I knew His power was stronger than theirs.
The witch doctor told me he could use my head. Sometimes I would wake up and he would be standing over me. Every night I was terrified I wouldn't wake up alive the next day.
That's all we're saying. Thank you, immigration.
Testimony from rescued victims provides an insight into the criminal industry that supplies an increasing number of children for use in juju rituals in Britain.
Our experience shows us that traffickers can be anybody. They can be people with power, they can be people with money, they can be people from the village, but they can also be people involved in witchcraft, witch doctors and other types of professionals in the community who are using those practices.
Witch doctors, or traditional spiritual healers, are growing in popularity in Britain, particularly within African communities. But many adverts for witch doctors in the mainstream press are aimed at people from all backgrounds. For around £350, witch doctors offer what they say are life-changing rituals involving prayer and herbs. But as we discovered, there are some who engage in more sinister practices. Posing as a married couple with financial problems, we had consultations with 10 witch doctors. All of them offered herbal potions and animal sacrifice to bring us wealth. But 2 witch doctors also offered us a ritual involving the use of human blood, which is illegal.
I have it. I have blood.
Mr. Cashew had a bottle of blood already prepared. The witch doctor instructs us to release the smell of the blood into our home.
They have bad smell, or not good smell, you know, very bad, you know, just little, you know.
Mr. Cashew claims he was born with his healing powers, helping clients across Europe and Africa.
I have to trust you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because, you know, this country, I have many customers here.
Forensic tests revealed the bottle did contain human blood, as well as excrement and chemicals. There is no evidence this blood was extracted from anyone against their will. We've been investigating one particular case, that of a 13-year-old Ugandan girl trafficked to Britain. Once here, she was abused in juju rituals. She was also sexually exploited. She's now safe, living under the protection of social services. Police efforts to track down her traffickers and abusers have not resulted in any arrests. We've obtained UK Border Agency files, which show that in December 2006, the 13-year-old Ugandan girl entered the UK on a Ugandan passport with a valid British visa. The passport she travelled on belonged to a 21-year-old woman, whose father is Haruna Salabea. At that time, he was a senior minister in the Ugandan government. British visas were issued to Mr. Salabea and his daughter to attend a conference at the Houses of Parliament in London. The files confirm that the fingerprints of the person who travelled on Mr. Salabea's daughter's passport are the same as those of the trafficked girl. When interviewed by British police, Mr. Salabea told them that he and his daughter were victims of forgery. They had never applied for British visas. Now back in Uganda, we went in search of Mr. Salabeya for our own inquiries. He's no longer an MP or a government minister. He lost his seat in elections last February. In several telephone conversations with Mr. Salabeya, he has refused to meet us and says he's never been to the United Kingdom. So we've tracked him down in his home, in his former constituency, and we've brought the evidence to show him. Mr. Salabeya.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm from the BBC.
Okay.
We've been given some evidence that suggests that you may have trafficked a girl into the United Kingdom in 2006. And we brought this evidence to show you, but we'd like to get your response to that evidence.
Yeah, this one I have ever responded, I think. I've never gone to Britain at all.
Is that you? I show him copies of the visa application forms.
All this is a forgery.
All of that is a forgery?
Yeah, this is all forgery. All this is a forgery, actually.
Why do you think someone would want to forge your visa application?
Now, some people are money makers, and now they are making money.
In an attempt to prove the paperwork is a forgery and that he's never been to the UK, Mr. Salabeya shows me his passport. But inside, I find a British visa. It's the one that was issued as a result of what he claims was a forged application.
United Kingdom, I've not been there. It expired when I didn't go there.
Okay.
And you can't see any witness that I went there.
Okay.
Now, this one was for Ireland. I didn't go there. This one, I didn't. Then this was for America. I didn't go there.
You didn't go there?
I didn't go there.
So you've applied for a lot of visas and not gone? See, the passport that was used for this visa application, sir, is the passport that you've just handed me. It's got the same passport number, it's got the same dates, it's everything. That is a photocopy of this passport for this visa application. It's not forged, it's a photocopy of the passport you've just shown me. And then, another astonishing revelation.
But I know the father of this girl, someone was telling me. They've been telling me the father of this.
You know the father of the girl who was trafficked?
Yeah, that one.
You know the father of the girl?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay, so could you take us to meet? When I asked Mr. Salabeya how he knew which particular girl had been trafficked on his daughter's passport, he refused to elaborate. Mr. Salabeya is now banned from the UK. While there is no evidence that he has trafficked children from Uganda into Britain, police sources say that what is certain is that Mr. Salabeya's daughter's passport, with a valid British visa, has been used for trafficking purposes. With huge financial rewards at stake, traffickers are employing ever more sophisticated methods to outmaneuver those who try to stop them. The people of Mukono and communities across Uganda are battling against a multi-million-dollar criminal industry and a sinister belief in the profit of human sacrifice. It will require international action to save many more young Ugandan lives.
Sacrifice